Okay, welcome back to another speed model. I'm gonna be making this little like Greek column sort of scene, but you know the drill. Leave a comment if you have something you want me to render. Otherwise, my time starts now. So I'll start with a blank Blender file. And for this, a Greek column is just a column, rather a cylinder. So I'll add one there, give me a front view, move it up, I'll scale it down on everything except the Z, scale it up on the Z. And why don't we make it like about 3 meters tall. That seems fine. And it would need to be a little bit thinner for that height. So we'll start with that. I'm going to be making a doric style column. So an ionic column is the one that has sort of the scrolls up top. So here, wait, this is ionic, and then just sort of flat like this is doric, and then, you know, fluted, sort of floral, super intricate, detailed, and whatever is, we might call it Corinthian, or it might even just be something later that is like, you know, neoclassical. But anyways, I'm making a Doric style column because they're quick and they're easy. So I'll just go ahead and do that. So this is just going to be the main like base of the column. And I think I can do like alternate, perhaps I can do edges. And I want to say alternate select. Okay. I think there's a trick I can use to select every other edge like this. I think it might be pattern, control plus, no. You know what? We're just gonna do it the old fashioned way and just select every other edge like this. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, scale it on everything except the Z inwards. And then I also want to maybe bevel each of these, and I'll turn up the subdivisions like that until it's nice and columnar. Now for a Doric column, let's make it shade smooth, yada yada. Okay, that's nice. That's very nice. The flutes are a little deep for my taste, but you know, you win some, you lose some. So I'll just add another cylinder, scale it down to size. And actually, what am I doing? The base of a Doric column is usually just sort of plopped flat against the ground, but it's the capital that makes it Doric. So we'll do it like that. And you know what? We can even look up some reference. Doric column image. Okay, so my suspicion was right. It does need to come out a bit, and you can see on the Parthenon it is just sort of flat on the ground, or this is the Parthenon in Nashville. Here's the real one. It's just flat on the ground there. Anyways, the top needs to have like a small layer, and then the top is flared. So we'll just do that, where we'll grab the face, extrude, scale, extrude, and then grab the face and flare it out like that. That's beautiful. Another thing about columns, Greek columns in particular, is that they like to get fancy with it, and we'll do is scale it down so it gets a little bit thinner towards the top, and we'll just scale that to be appropriate as well. And I know that there are people who have, you know, gone through and measured every single you know, angle and all of that stuff on all of these buildings to say that, oh, you know, this is clearly an inspiration from whatever the Parthenon or like whatever random temple is in Greece. But I don't care. So it'll just be like this, and that'll be a quick Doric column. So we've made this in 5 minutes. So what are some ways I can make this interesting? Well, first off, the material. So you know what, I'm just gonna join these, and then we can go to shading, and I'll add in a marble texture, whatever, I meant a noise texture. And we'll start with this, where why don't we just get a photo of some flat marble, and we don't want it to have that many blemishes. So it looks like marble's sort of essence is, I might call it a Voronoi, where we'll have some roughness as the vector. We won't set it to color, and I'll turn the scale up, question mark, scale down, question mark, normalize, no, okay. I think we want distance to edge, that'll give us the distance, and then I want this to be scaled up. I want this to be scaled down. No, that's fine like that. We can increase the scale a bit, fiddle with the scale until we get something, and then add a color ramp where we can tune in the white, turn down, yeah, and just turn the black basically all the way down. And now what we can do is we can use this color ramp as a mask for our 2 parts of marble. So we'll do a mixed color. And okay, a note about marble is that the Greeks didn't like a lot of these imperfections and colors in the marble. That's why, like, you look up any Greek statue, so like random Greek statue. Let's do, let me think of one. Laocoon, I misspelled him, but I believe this is a copy. But this is the marble is flat, it's white. There's no imperfections, no features in the marble. Unlike, you know, the rock over here, that's a later Roman thing. So we don't want to make the imperfections that imperfect. So the red one, A, is going to be the imperfection thing, and the white is going to be the base. So we're going to do 2 mixed colors, one for the marble, or one for the imperfections, and one for the base. Beautiful. So for the imperfections, why don't we add a noise? And that is the factor. give me a color ramp. And this is just a classic setup, but we'll look at that. So for the noise, we want it to be maybe a dark brown and maybe another dark color. And maybe it's a bit more defined, but with a massive scale. And okay, let's start with that. We'll plug that in there. And now for the non-imperfect, the not features, we can maybe make whatever flecks of detail we want to add in. First off, very small, but then second off, we want them to be not super intense. So we'll turn the black stop down there. So we'll mix that with a white, and why don't we do, or here, we can visualize for a second. Yeah, so we'll do slightly off-white, maybe it needs to be gray. Yeah, we'll do like that, plug that into there, plug the result into the surface. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so in my opinion, this looks pretty horrible. How can we fix it? First off, we can maybe, instead of mixing these, we can like multiply. And yeah, no, whatever. We'll leave it as mix. So I don't like the way the features look. So maybe I'll turn those down, crank it down like that. And then I think it might even need more roughness, decrease randomness, add detail. Okay, the detail slider is what I wanted to adjust there. Perfect. Okay, and then we can bring it out even a bit, now bring it down. And then the fact that these are different colors isn't pronounced enough. So maybe I'll even, instead of brown and gray, it can be brown and the base, so that the imperfections are even more subtle, like they are like this. So I'm liking this as a base color. So I'll plug that into the principled, make that the surface. And let's think of how we can add more detail, more realism to this. So let's get it lit. Let's add, I don't know, a sun that points this way. Sure. And why is it like that? Why is it doing that? Why are you only lit from like that way down? Maybe I can like normal object, recalculate normals to outside maybe? Animation, quick effects, tab, face, set faces, UV, that's what we want. No, mesh, normals, recalculate outside. No, it's still acting weird. Hop into layout mode for a second. What is going on with that? Because it has this weird thing where this is not being lit at all, where suppose we select this. Yeah, we have to light it from underneath almost. That is super weird. Maybe it's an issue with the geometry. Nope. You know what? Whatever. I don't care. Hop back into shading. We can zoom in on this. And we can use a modified version of the imperfections noise for the bump. So run the factor into the height, and we'll run this into the normal. And here we can just, we can just turn down the strength, turn it down a bit, turn the distance down as well. Okay. And then the roughness, why don't we use the imperfections of Voronoi as the roughness? So we can take this or why don't we take this and just plug it in there and see how it looks. Okay, it's got some weird roughness going on, but so the goal was to have the black parts be rough. Maybe I need to look at what this is real quick. Oh yeah, that's not what I want. Maybe it's this. Yeah, okay, we want this as the height for the roughness, not the other one. So let it cook for a second, and there we go. Now we have those guys as rough, and maybe we can even add a math node, and we can, I don't know, multiply this guy by the basic imperfections color ramp, plug that in. How's that look? And we can have a little bit more variation of roughness across the mesh. All right, that's looking super marbly to me. I don't know about you. Maybe the strength needs to be higher. 5, like 3. Yeah, that's super strange. I don't get why it's lighting like that. Face or mesh, normals, or shading, smooth edges, mesh, weights, shading, smooth faces. Okay, you know what? If this isn't lit down here, we can just fix it with, I don't know, we can add something to fix it. We can add a marble, or not a marble, add an area light or something. But okay, now we have this nice metal column that is well lit and all that stuff. Why is it doing that? That is deeply confusing. Call it column. We'll save it. Why don't we make like a small Y scale? Okay, that fixed it. Don't know what was wrong, and I still like the imperfections, so hop into shaded view. Maybe the roughness could be bigger, the imperfections rather. So we'll hop in here and make it like double it. 160. Okay, gorge. Layout this, and I'm thinking we can add some wear to the edges by saying, and I learned this trick on a Smeef video. So we want an object info node, or no, a texture coordinate node. Coordinate, Control T. We want this node, and then we can add a math node, a vector math node, where we take the normal, and I think it's like the dot product with something. I forgot. It is the dot product of the normal with a bevel, I think. So then we'll also click that and see. This is not what we want. Maybe it's a generated, perhaps it's the UV. Maybe it is the object. Oh, it's adding. Where is my dot product? It's vector math, so, there it is, dot product. Normal, radius, no. It's not visualized. Turn the radius up, generated. Perhaps it's the UV. Maybe it is even the object. No, it is not the object. And I can see now that the lighting disparity is coming from where the origin of the object was placed, it looks like. Okay, this is like approximately what old Smeef had going on in the video. Maybe fewer samples, maybe bigger radius. I think an ambient occlusion is also like an acceptable mask. No, whatever. I wanted to add some wear to the edges, but we're not going to worry about it. Instead, why don't we make a scene with this guy and say, I can move that down a bit, origin to 3D cursor, or rather, why don't we make the 3D cursor at the world origin, view 3D cursor, womp, womp, womp. And now we'll do origin 3D cursor. So now we can move this around and do whatever stuff we want with it. So I'm thinking I'll do like a little, it'll be like a meter high, and then we can move it over one, move it over one, move it over one. And then for the texture, why are you black? Oh, it's not connected. For the texture for the Voronoi, what we can do is do a generated on the object that should give them all their own unique variation. So that looks like that. Whereas that, so they're all looking actually similar. Yeah, they do all look similar. From instancer, maybe I can add in an empty and say from this empty, there we go. Now the imperfections move. Okay, whatever. We'll leave it like that. And then I'll add in, no, this is not idiosyncratic. We'll scale each of these up 2 from their individual origins. 2, 2, 2, 22. Scale it up by 2, scale it up by 2 again, and whatever. We'll add a quick ground plane, crank it up, and then we can add in a cube, gx 0.5, gy 0.5, move it up, scale it down. Now we can control R the long way, make a bevel, or no, scale it up, but bevel it, and object smooth by angle. And maybe we can place like a bowl with fire on it on top of this. We'll do like, I don't know, a UV sphere. Just position this, move it up like that, scale it, tab into edit mode, and get rid of like the top half of all edges, all faces maybe, and then grab the bottom here and use proportional editing to move it up. And that's good. Now we'll just have this shade smooth, add in a subsurf, add in a solidify, and crank that soldier boy, move it back down on top. And then I'll add like a little, why don't I make a little blue spirit kind of guy. We can move this up, and then like maybe this is like moving up, and that's like up as well, and that's up as well. Like that's up, this is up, and it's nice and smooth, very smooth, shaded smooth even. And it has like a bunch of weird displacement going on. Well, add like, I don't know, clouds, like a big size. And then, or we can even do a random. And then turn the strength down. Coordinates local, sure. Now what I'll do is give you a texture, or I'll make you marble. I'll make you bronze. I don't know, what's bronze look like? It's like kind of like that, maybe a bit darker, but like metallic. And they weren't exactly artists. Well, they were artisans, but they didn't get everything perfect back in the day. So it's got some roughness, and the same roughness applies to the bump, bam, but way less. Maybe even less. Sure, why not? But now whatever flame it's holding can be like a crazy green, lime green emission, 5 strength, like a nice green, and then turn like bloom on, and then give it a background. We got 1:20 for that. So frame it, view, camera to view. I want to do like that. And then I'll say, give me like a sky texture, high res sky, beautiful. Save image, sky, Shift A, images as plane, go to downloads. Where did I save it? Sky, whatever. Save it again. Sky.jpg. Oops, reload, downloads. Gotta work quick. Sky, import. Where is it now? Move it over here. Rotate it on the Z30. Scale it up. Rotate it more. Back. Scale it up again. Give it an emission. Bam. Strength 0.5. And you know what? Sure. That is a Greek column with a green flame guy. Render image, and let's see how it looks. Okay, I actually think this looks pretty good. I think that the marble texture turned out really great. I would have liked to have added some imperfections. Same thing with the bowl. It could use some imperfections. And then this green flame is not too great, to be honest. I think maybe it could use some color gradation around it. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And with that, this has been my daily speed modeling challenge for Friday, June the 7th. Leave a comment if you know the challenge for me. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Goodbye.